This is Module 2, Lesson 2 of the Scratch Computer Science course. Today we're going to be looking at the repeat loop. Looping is very important in computer programming. If you need to do something over and over again, then you need to, what we call, use a loop. And Scratch provides us with a loop called the repeat loop, which is pretty straightforward. A computer can perform repetitive tasks efficiently. What does the code written below in Scratch do? So let's just have a look at this here. We've got when our green flag is clicked, we're going to hide, we're going to clear. Hide will hide the sprite. Clear will clear everything that's on there before. We're going to lift our pen up. We're going to set the pen color to 0 or to red. We're going to move to position 0, 0, the center of the screen. We're going to put our pen down, and then this repeat loop here, you can see how it's sort of bracketed to show what's inside the loop. That's real important as well, and when we move farther in the course, you're going to see how we're going to do that in a variety of different ways, but just pay attention to that. You can see how that these three steps are inside the loop. So we've got our pen down, we're in color red, and we're at the center, and we're going to move 100 steps. We're going to turn 90 degrees to the right. We're going to wait a second, and then we're going to repeat. So tell me, what do you think this Scratch script is going to do? I hope that you have realized that it's going to draw a square. Okay. In the script, the loop will repeat the steps of the drawing of each side of the square and rotate to draw the next side of the square. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to go to Scratch and I would like you to type that in. And I will pause the video here. Okay, you should have the Scratch script clicked into your editor, and what happens when we run it? I'm sure you've tried it already. And I've got myself a little bit of an error here, likely because I stopped my script halfway through. So let me just run that again. And that time it worked pretty good. Okay, so you got your square, and you can see that this repeat loop here draws the square. I should point out that we should probably add a comment in here. Draw the square. Okay, and we're going to attach that to that set of code in there. Okay, so that's just another little comment so that other people that are looking at this program know exactly what that's going to do. All right, I want to show you something here that's a little bit handy. It doesn't work that well in Scratch. It needs a little bit of improvement, but the debugger allows you to single step through commands, okay? So what I'd like you to do is let's go back to Scratch here, and I'm going to show you this here. When you go Edit, I'd like you to go Start Single Stepping, and I'd like you to go Set Single Stepping and turn it on Flash Blocks and Slow. And what this does is it's going to show you the code. I'm just going to clear this. It's going to show you the code, and it's doing it on me here already. It's going to show you where it is in the code so that you can sort of follow along. It just sort of slows things down and allows you to sort of see what's happening. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a pause. All right, so what I would like you to do now is I would like you to write scripts to draw a triangle, pentagon, and a circle, and use the repeat loop, okay? Basically, you're going to use the code that you just had, and you're going to modify it, you're going to edit it so that to get a triangle, which is a 3-sided figure, pentagon, which is a 5-sided figure, and a circle. And now really, a circle, one could argue, is a 360-sided figure, or at least it's close, pretty close to that. Remember that the angle between sides can be calculated, and you might remember this from an earlier math class, by 360 divided by the number of sides. So if it's a 4-sided figure, square, 360 divided by 4, 90 degrees. Triangle, 360 divided by 3. Okay, so like go ahead and try those 3 things, triangle, pentagon, and a circle, and I'll give you the answer right away. All right, hopefully you've tried it. Maybe you had some bit of difficulty. I'm going to show you the triangle answer. This is what triangle looks like. Everything is exactly the same. You'll notice that I've changed my pen color to a random number between 0 and 200, just something different. And I've changed my pen size to 10, made it a little bit bigger. Okay, and you'll notice here that the repeat loop has changed to 3 times because it's a 3-sided figure, and I still have 100 steps, and my angle is now 360 divided by 3, which is 120. And so when you run that, you should get yourself a triangle. Let's just go over to Scratch and see what happens. I'm just going to change this to 120. Change my comment, I'm going to repeat it 3 times. I didn't show you the pen size. Let's just see if we can get this. Let's set the pen size to 10. Put that back together. See what happens. And we're still on the debugger. If you want to turn that off, you can. It's pretty straightforward to do. Stop single stepping. You'll notice that at the start here, right up in the top hand corner, my scratch is facing up, which is why my first side of the triangle is facing up. If I actually turn him a little bit here, I can get him to go any direction that I want. Okay, so it might be a good idea to add to our script to point towards the direction at the start. Okay, 90 is to the right. That's sort of what most people would expect to be drawing first. So something like that. Okay, if you want it to be a triangle that's sort of sitting on its base, then something like that would be close. Because it's an equilateral triangle, we're going to have to go, I think it would be 30 degrees. Let's see here. Oh no, probably 60. Let's just see. I'm not really sure which direction that's going to be. No, I was wrong. 30. There we go. Okay, so you can play around with that a little bit. If you haven't done the pentagon and the circle, go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you the answers. Okay, I'm hoping that you've given those a try. The pentagon is pretty easy. We're just going to repeat. We're going to go 5 times. Let's get rid of the comment here so we don't have to adjust it. The 100 steps we're going to leave the same. Pentagon is going to be 360 divided by 5, which of course is 72 degrees. And let's see how that looks. Okay, there's my pentagon. You might want to adjust your initial direction here, but that's fine. The circle is kind of neat. We're going to repeat this 360 times, and we're going to turn 1 degree. And our 1 degree change is going to be so small that it's going to basically look like a circle. Now, if you've already tried this, you might know that the wait 1 second is going to take you 360 seconds, or about 6 minutes to draw the circle. I'm assuming most of you don't want to wait 6 minutes to watch the circle draw, so let's take our wait 1 second out of there, and let's see what happens. And the problem here is that my move 100 steps is making a giant circle. Okay, so we don't want that. Let's turn that off. 100 steps is going to be a little bit far. Let's try 5 steps. Still pretty big. Let's go 1 step. One thing that I may not have shown you is that you can run individual bits of code here. Because I've got a bit of a mess going on over here, I'm going to take my pen palette, I'm going to go to clear, and I'm just going to go like that, and it clears it for me. Okay, now let's see what happens here. Oh, it's still drawing that. Oh, I know why. There's my circle. This line here, it's drawing a line from where it was before. It's because I've got my pen down. I'm going to have to clear this up here. It's because it didn't end up exactly where it started. So you might want to put the pen up at the end here. Let's just try this one more time. There we go. Okay, it's because we started at the same spot. There's our circle. It's actually a 360-sided figure. Okay, using a loop. All right, so that's great. I'd like you to now try and draw the circle and the hexagon side by side. Okay, so you're going to add to your script. So take your circle script, take your hexagon script, draw them side by side. See how you make out with that. Pause if you need to. Okay, that you might have had a little bit of trouble with this one. Here's the answer. Okay, so what I've done is I've drawn my circle script here. I've lifted my pen up. This is probably the mistake that many of you had a problem with here. So you have to lift the pen up to move over, change the X by 200 or move a certain number of steps. So this is probably your best bet here is to change the X by 200, put your pen back down, and then repeat. The hexagon is a 6-sided figure. here's the code for a six-sided figure. So it's the pen up, changing the X, put the pen back down, and then do this that you probably struggled with. So go ahead, put the video on pause, get that cleaned up, and then we'll move on. Okay, so at this point here, you should try some exercises in the book. Good luck with that. That is the end of lesson 2.